All right, welcome to News Extra. I'm Andy Wheeler. In our lineup tonight, we'll get the details on the long-anticipated decolonization debate happening at UOG next week. But first, we're talking mental health. There's the stigma that comes with mental health that can discourage a person from seeking help. And May is Mental Health Awareness Month, a time to put that issue to the forefront. We've got Nia here and Rowena from iCare Guam to talk about what's happening. Ladies, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
So, May Mental Health Month, and we're talking about the stigma, as I said. It's hard for people to seek help sometimes.
Yes, it is.
And sometimes if they do kind of hint at certain things, issues that they're dealing with, people can dismiss them easily and say, oh, it's nothing, you'll get over it. So how do we tell people that it's okay to talk to someone, a professional, an individual, a therapist or whoever? How do you have someone break that mold that, oh, people are going to think I'm crazy or something?
Well, I guess it's important to share with whatever situation you're going through with someone that you trust, first and foremost. Because once you start letting it out to someone that you trust, perhaps that individual can help you navigate through other needed supports and services that perhaps maybe you might have not thought of because of your temporary situation of being all stressed out or whatever the situation may be that just got you off guard. So I don't know, Nia, you want to add on to that?
Yeah, I think the most important thing that we want to raise awareness about for the month of May is to let the community, recognize the importance of our mental health,
right.
And kind of unpacked this big mental health topic in a way where we can understand that everyone has a mental health. It's a state of being. It's your feelings. It's how you cope with everything, that you do in life. And then it's also maybe part of a bigger spectrum of you can have a diagnosed mental health illness. And that with that, it comes a stigma in that our community, sometimes it's really hard to reach out and ask for help. And sometimes it's out of, feeling mamalo,
right.
feeling that shame. And what we want people to know is that 1 in 5 people across the world have a diagnosed mental health challenge, and everyone is susceptible to facing a mental health challenge at some point in their life. But less than half of those people will ever seek help because
right.
of that shame.
They think maybe somebody from a different generation where these things were really pushed aside or labeled as, some negative term. Oh, I don't want to bring that up to so-and-so. They're going to dismiss it. And, we just see so many people out hitting the gym, doing 5Ks to get their body physically right. You have to take steps to ensure your mental well-being.
Yeah, and I think what also helps a lot with breaking the stigma is that a lot of well-known celebrities, famous people are coming out and they're sharing their challenges if they had a diagnosis and what they went through. So, that kind of makes it, oh my goodness, even so-and-so who's a star is also struggling something that I've been just diagnosed, or perhaps maybe my child has been diagnosed.
Right. We just saw recently world famous producer, musician Avicii took his own life, and family said that he was dealing with some things. And like you said, we're all dealing with certain things, but how you deal with those, how you talk about them, how you cope with those emotions is one thing that's very important.
Yes, and I think what we have that's instrumental, especially if perhaps maybe you may not have someone that you trust that you want to talk to, we have our helpline locally, and they can call that number, but I can give the numbers out later. Or there's also the national hotline as far as if they need someone to talk to, but then yet they're not too sure if they can trust anyone, at least locally in their own circle of friends. Or
sometimes having that anonymous conversation with someone who is trained to deal with those things can be very therapeutic. Just getting these things off your chest, talking about it. Not everyone is fortunate enough to have that really close person that they trust enough to talk about these things with.
Yes, definitely. And at least if they're not too sure if I can trust you, Andy, well, at least I can call.
Oh, you can trust me.
I can call that 1-800 number. And so then maybe after my conversation with that individual, I have a better clarity of what I can do, at least here on Guam, that I can take the next step so I can ensure my mental health.
The next step. It's not a one conversation, fixed, done. This is a process, and sometimes starting that process is the hardest part. So Nia, anyone that is dealing with some certain issues that they would like to seek help, what do you think are some of the first steps that that person needs to go through?
I think the first step would be just to recognize if there is a moment where you think you're mentally unwell, and to recognize that if there's ever a inkling or even a question that you may be suffering or struggling with your mental health, that knowing it's okay to come out and talk about it.
Right.
And more so, it's letting other people know that if someone is reaching out to you, you know, to not cast them aside as being emo or overly dramatic, as actually respecting that person. They could be going through something very serious, and that you could actually be the one person they are reaching out to.
Yeah, there are signs to pick up if your friend, you know, sudden mood swings or certain behavioral changes. As a friend, you know, just sit down and talk to that person.
Exactly.
And as an individual, don't dismiss your own feelings. Don't, it's just a phase, I'll get over it. If these things persist, talk to someone, seek some help. And there are a lot of programs out there that you and the department offer for people to seek help. So if they call the hotline or the helpline, they can point them in the right direction, correct?
Correct.
Correct. And, you know, it's actually within the umbrella that is mental health. I think it's also important for people to recognize there are many issues that are related to mental health. Right. And that is, we can talk about bullying and how that relates to an adolescent's well-being, substance abuse, depression, anxiety. These are all mental health issues. And that we need to see why they're so interwoven and connected and how they affect our community. And that at the end of the day, we need to question seriously and think about what the community is doing and what we're doing that's bringing up these issues and what we can do to actually help.
Right. I mean, with social media and things like this, I mean, online cyberbullying can really affect someone's feelings about themselves.
Yes, we see a lot of that, especially with the adolescent population. And many times they feel that it's just too overwhelming for them.
Right.
And so because of that, many times they try and take alternative ways in trying to balance out that negative feeling. And so we see a lot of different kinds of behaviors walking in through Ifamaguenta. And it's quite alarming. And at the same note, with the system of care, we involved not only just the child and the parent, but we also try and involve those who are involved with the child in a positive way.
Right. And positivity, channeling that energy into something positive, I think is key. And May is Mental Health Awareness Month. So you ladies, I know we're going to be back on the show to talk more about the events. You do have some things coming up. So basically, reach out, talk to someone, help them, you know, they can help you deal with certain issues.
Yes.
Ladies, thank you so much.
Oh,
sorry, go ahead.
so sorry.
We're going to have you back on the show next week, I believe.
Yes.
Or in the future weeks to talk about some of the events coming up. And you can always look on the social media and websites to find out more information.
Yeah, and one thing I want to leave is also, aside from friends, please also recognize co-workers too, because majority of our time is at the workplace. And many times we have to bring our issues into the workplace, and it's very difficult to struggle both things that are going on in your mind. You know, your personal as well as your professional.
Right.
So, you know what, as coworkers, also, you know, take the time to identify if your coworkers may need something, even just an ear or even just, you know, hey, how are you doing?
Just as simple as that.
Exactly, and it's free.
Right.
No insurance needed.
Ladies, thank you so much. We're looking forward to seeing you again. All right, there is still more to come on News Extra. We will be back with more after these.